Yep. Okay. Let's go. So, points for this meeting are mostly testnet issues. First, on the dev sync. These days it's a bit boring. On my end, I finished all of my work for Eclipse, so it's mostly testing, and I've started. Well, I'm still working on adapting the RC delegation for Hotfork 25 to be up to date with all of the changes that we did for Eclipse. And that's about it for this week, apart from testing.
Okay. On our side, well, of course, we've released the release candidate Friday, I guess, or Thursday, I can't remember. And so I'm still a little concerned about. We released it a few days later than I was hoping for. So I feel like we probably need some more time for testing, both from our perspective on HiveMind, which we're still working on, and also from witness perspective and apps perspective. So we had a meeting earlier this morning to sort of discuss what we thought was achievable, and a couple of the guys wanted to push the hard fork back to the 22nd, just to give you a feeling for this, and I'm kind of pushed back against that. So I think we ought to shoot for the 16th. Um, I think that should be doable. But I feel like we need more time. I think they felt like we need more time. So there's two issues that really are driving that. One, we don't have HiveMind yet itself ready, and that means we don't have full API testing available. So right now, all we can really do is Hive D testing. That's important, and we certainly need to get started on that as soon as we can, which is, I think, now. But beyond that, we definitely still need to HiveMind full API testing too. And if we complete that this week, that's still only 8 days for everyone to test before an actual hard fork date. It's just too fast,
Yeah,
I think.
yeah, I agree. I mean,
So as far as where we're at, that the state is, yeah, we believe Hive D itself is done at this point, short of any bugs showing up. Um, we lost a couple days earlier last week because we did find one more bug in the snapshot code that we had to fix, and that's actually part of a little bit why we're in this state. But so beyond that, HiveMind is still going along well, but it's just a lot of tests we've got to do. And while we think we're doing well there, we could still be surprised by something yet until we pass all those tests. And I still want to at least leave a week after we have a full API node, running before. One of the things that came up we talked about in the meeting today, earlier today, was that we realized that there are some minor changes that would need to be made to the UIs as well. The delayed voting is going to require a UI change because probably UIs are going to want to show not only the voting power you currently have, but also the voting power you're going to get, because you're going to have more coming in later, right? So we didn't want to be a situation where somebody powers up and then they don't actually see an increase in their power right away. So they need to show something to get, yeah, your power's still here, but this is what your power is going to be. And there's also been changes to the API for proposals, which some of the UIs may want to take advantage of as well. I know we're changing Hive.blog's condenser code a little bit for that. And well, actually, those changes are made, but they haven't been integrated yet because they require the new code to test them.
yeah, that makes sense. I mean, it sounds like we are like 1 week away. It's much better from a PR perspective to have our, let's say, I think it's kind of our fourth fork because the Genesis fork, let's call it that, wasn't really one.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
I think
So it's
it's,
kind of the start.
yeah,
Yeah, we don't want this to go wrong. We want
yeah,
this to go
exactly.
very, very smoothly. So that's pretty much where we are right now. Like I said, Hive D is in good shape, we think, but we want the testing to go on that, and then HiveMind still under progress. So just, I guess, moving from that into the testing arena, we we tried to come up with a couple tests that would be nice to do on Hive D right now. Um, and we had a couple. Here's some of the ones that we talked about doing. We'd like to run one where we uh, basically run a test net where we do the chain ID change. We've done this already in the past, but I think it's worth doing again, because when we did it in the past, we only had one node doing it, and now I'd like to see it done with witnesses running testnet nodes that connect up and then do the chain ID switch. So basically, we start up a testnet, we set the hard fork, and we schedule some hard fork time that we all agree on, like say a day in the future. That gives everybody time to set up the net and then have it switch over in a networked situation. Because we really haven't done yet. I think all we've had before is really a single, roll and ran all the nodes, and this time we'd have distributed nodes and everything. I don't anticipate a problem, but I think it's something we need to test.
Yeah, I mean,
Is that
kind of a base case, to be honest.
Yeah. Another thing that's been suggested is that we see if we get we should, well, this one will kind of, another one we should do, which should sort of come out automatically, is we run a supermajority of the nodes running the new code on an isolated test net before the hard fork time, just to be sure that nothing starts, no code executes before the hard fork time. And we set a hard fork time that's a day in the future. And then we want to test the situation where we don't have a supermajority of nodes and we've hit a hard fork date. So same scenario, we set the hard fork date for like a day in advance, but we don't run with the super majority of nodes that'll switch over, just to be sure that we don't actually do the switch.
Yeah, and all of those would be we would need to do that with actual nodes. Actually, I don't know if we really need to have like replayed nodes with Tinman, etc. to.
No, I mean, for these, I'm talking about strictly just a test net. No, not connected to the main net at all.
Yeah, so in that sense, I guess that's a good segue into everything. So basically, I think we could run like all three at the same time, assuming like
these tests don't have to be sequential.
Yeah, exactly.
We could just run three networks.
So you could have three networks. Let's say four with one that's meant to be nominal. I guess that's the one with supermajority with multiple nodes. That is normal one. So three. One thing I'd like to see is perhaps a fourth one that's basically an attack net, which is a network that we set up a bounty. Perhaps
sounds like a great idea.
Perhaps paid by the decentralized Hive fund, and basically people are paid to get it down in any way possible. I think that would be a great idea to have. So right now it sounds like we should run like 4 testnets, and I guess since it doesn't require that much power, pretty much any witness can run that. So we should aim for like 10 bucks
nodes, right? That's right. They shouldn't be too expensive to run.
Yeah, and I mean it would be for like a week. Well, let's say if everyone pays like 1 month, it shouldn't be that expensive. Just noting stuff. So yeah. Well, wave 3 when let's say we have ones that for the with the different chain ID, isn't that the same as the supermajority hard fork when you think about it?
Well, yeah, it's more what you do with it, right? I guess the supermajority. Well, the one with the supermajority was doing it before the hard fork, but yeah. So I guess if we run that, yeah, you're right. They can be combined.
Yeah. Okay. So yeah, 3. That's a good number. And that would be the main one. Non-supermajority, then attack net. And yeah, more generally, I guess it would be worth to run a bug bounty program. If the attack net is like a success, it could be worth to run like just a bug bounty on the Hive mind. Perhaps not Hive mind because there is. I don't
want to run one on Hive mind.
Yeah, not yet. But like on Hive D, I think because it's on Hive D that there is the highest.
Hive D makes sense. Yeah.
Yeah, I guess that's something we could like make like a fund on an escrow account with like multiple authorizations, so it gets funded by the development fund, and then we basically let's say a few core developers can like review each big bounty submissions and pay out yes or not.
Yeah, I mean,
but I guess this is something I should write a post about. Just wanted to like bounce ideas.
yeah, right. We don't have to have you can write it up, post or whatever.
Yeah. So since this is Hive, well, basically, so we need to test Hive D. HiveMind is still pending debugging, so it shouldn't be the focus for now. So if we were to lay a timeline, right now we are the 24th, and Hive D is pretty much ready, so we could start.
Right. I think this week should be basically Hive D testing.
Yeah, we should try to like.
I would like to have Hive D testing at least comfortably finished by the end of this week. So it's an aggressive schedule. We need to move fast. We need to mainly because we got to mobilize the witnesses. We got to get them together and agree to do all this stuff.
Yeah, that can be done by text. So yeah, I guess on the actionable stuff, we should basically try to get a guide. Gandalf did a great job already on how to set up a new node, but like basically how to join testnet 1, 2, 3, and
yeah, would you be willing to take that on, or at least cooperate with someone else to take that on?
Yeah, I'm not that much of a DevOps guy, so I think it would be better to. I think I can like write the layout and then discuss.
Well,
with
I
Gandalf.
mean more just administration of just getting people to. Yeah.
Oh yeah, administration wise, yeah, definitely.
Okay.
I'll just sync with Gandalf or Bartek. I don't know which one is the more.
Probably Gandalf would be the good guy for that, I think.
Okay. Yeah, so let's say this week Hive D. Meanwhile, if next week you guys are ready with the with HiveMind, we can like set up full nodes.
Yep, that sounds like we're
yeah, and then 1 week, and then if we launch on the 16th, that's still very aggressive though. I understand why they want to.
Yeah, it is. There's nothing guaranteed about this. I think that should be. We should make that clear. It's where we want to be.
Yeah, but I mean. I guess it'll all depend on next week and the week after.
It's going to depend on the testing. Yeah, it's absolutely going to depend on the testing.
Yeah, okay. Testnet planning, big bounty. I'm pretty sure I can round up a few people to fund an attacknet thing. And since we are quite confident, I doubt I'll even have to spend any money, so that's fine.
As long as they're testing Hive D and not HiveMind.
Yeah, HiveMind at 20 hours later. Yeah, so that's all for the actionable for the next weeks or more. More generally, I think a testnet would be valuable just to have, let's say, the new features to be always.
Like a long term, I agree. We should also set up a long term testnet. I've often.
Well, basically, whenever we merge to master, it would be interesting to deploy it. Have like a testnet that's running on the latest changes. That's let's say resets every week, so that they always have the like most up-to-date stuff, and so that app developers can already develop stuff based on the new the next changes, so that we don't end up in that situation where we have changes but frontends cannot develop stuff, so we have to push everything by 1 week because we want to get the changes. In reality, I'm not sure if people will actually use the testnet.
Well, I think to make that useful, we'd probably. I mean, right now we are merging to master, but generally speaking, we'd be running the testnet off develop. So master would just be production only code, and we'd work off. We could basically be launching testnets off develop. Yeah, I suppose that would be developed for HiveMind and for Hive D.
Yeah, I guess so. Yeah, and that would be useful. And I guess everything with a faucet, etc. Since I already did a faucet for the testnet a while ago, in the Steam era, we can probably get that up and running. But I mean, that's a subject for later, I guess.
Yeah, I think Inertia suggested he could set up. He seemed to be willing to possibly set up Tinman to test the testnet as well.
Oh yeah, that would be neat. I don't know if he updated the documentation to run Tinman on Hive, although everything should be the same.
I guess a good question we should ask.
Or perhaps not, because I'm assuming the rebranding changes probably broke the tool.
Yeah, probably.
But yeah, as usual, this is a relatively short one because it was mostly about thinking on the actionables, which is what this meeting should be about, really. So that's good. Do you guys have anything else?
I don't. That's it for me.
When do
Anybody else have anything they want to add?
Guilty Parties wrote, when do you want to do this test? But that was 10 minutes ago, which is my bad.
Oh, I did see that. Yeah, I guess we want to begin testing right away, basically. So
Yeah.
let's start coordinating witnesses and get them to launch Testnet and connect up.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, if we can get everything up and running internally, let's say in a day or two, because there is no replay, so that's cool. And then publish like the AttackNet announcement in like Thursday, and then we'll keep it running for as long as we need, because as long as the hard fork, basically.
Yeah.
And I mean, the
Sounds
whole
good.
testnet should do that as well.
Right. Yeah, there's no reason to. Well, I mean, some of these are short term. We don't have to keep them running, but some of these tests are just test and finish. But
yeah,
with the AttackNet, let's leave on. Yeah.
I mean, the testnet chains don't have that much interest. And once we reach the actual date.
Yeah, once we see what happens, there's no real need to keep them running, I think.
Works. And then I guess this is where it would be interesting that the AttackNet will run for the entire thing. The two other testnets will run for like, let's say, a week and a half. And then we'll reboot everything with the actual testnet with like full nodes, since hopefully, finger crossed, HiveMind will be done by then. And so we will be able to open it to app developers to test everything.
Yeah. I mean, I think the testnets can literally just run for a day or two, each one. I think that's all they need to run for.
Yeah, definitely. But what I'm afraid of is like from the administration perspective, I know people will.
Yeah, there could be a problem coordinating. Yeah, let's hope we can make that happen faster. That's why I didn't want to be administering that.
Yeah, but I mean,
you get the fun job of bugging people.
Yeah, you're administrating enough things already. But yeah, hopefully I can get things going for like Thursday or Friday, so that people can be ready by then.
Okay.
But yeah, I guess we'll sync on Mattermost anyways. I'll go bug everyone. And yeah, the one thing I need is probably guidance from Gandalf on perhaps polishing a guide where I can just point to people and say get a server and run this, so it can be easier.
Yeah, he can definitely help out there, I think.
But yeah,
I can promise that because he can't speak.
I mean, I know he can. So I'll just take his silence for a yes. Guilty Parties wrote, do you want to announce a date chant for the hard fork formally or wait? Well, I guess it won't be like that formal because
I mean, I figured I'd just make a post about it today. I've got a weekly post coming up today anyways. It's Monday, so I'll announce it there. At least I'll announce that I don't know if it'll be formally, but I'll announce it in my post.
Yeah, and I mean, people who listen to this will also know.
Yeah, but might as well just, I think I plan on putting it in the post.
Well, we don't really need to do it formal because, like last time, we actually said tentatively the 9th.
Yeah, it was still a tentative date. We knew it wasn't necessarily going to happen.
But I guess
testing kind of dictating everything.
I guess he's got a point since the Hive.io post went live, etc. People might not find out.
Yeah, it depends. Probably Hive.io should announce that the date is switched. But I mean, the thing is, we still don't even know that's a firm date. So
yeah, true. I guess
I'm not. I think putting out my post will probably be sufficient, but I'll leave that to other guys to decide.
Yeah, I agree. Technically, Flux not announced yet. It's just when the raise candidate is subject to send. Yeah, that's true.
Yep.
Also, by the way, did we get any contact with the exchanges? Are they aware of such a short time, and are they okay with it?
We have not haven't talked to exchanges. I don't know about exchange people, but I don't think it's going to be exactly a short amount of time for them, honestly.
I told them that they will have at least 2-3 weeks. So
Okay.
2 is okay for them.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
So then it's almost certainly. I guess if everything goes well this week, we can ship it to them realistically, and then get HiveMind ready, etc. Because they don't need the HiveMind fixes. So,
right.
So yeah, it's just crucial that I do my job correctly, basically.
Yeah, which is good. While we want to get that testnet, those testnets operating and testing this week.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Good. Yeah, that's all for me.
Okay, that sounds good.
Yeah, I'll go write some stuff, and hopefully the recording will have worked this time. Okay.
Okay.
See you, everyone.
Thanks, guys.